Ladies and gentlemen, it's the world's wokest warrior, primitive-sided, toxic fanboy aligned with the like-minded, Tony Tone Deaf, rockin' with you. I want to welcome one and all to the Clown World Review. We are a new channel, so don't forget to like and tell a friend about it. Maybe share it. Let them know what we're doing over here so we can grow this empire together, you know what I mean? On the docket today is the penultimate episode 4 from the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. The 4th episode is entitled Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X and was written by David Weiss and Patty Howitt. The episode begins with the Turtles and April pulling up to Baxter Stockman's now abandoned laboratory in what used to be Baxter Stockman's van. With Apes in the driver's seat, the boys push the van up the stairwell so they can upgrade it with all kinds of equipment Baxter left behind. Michelangelo is worried Baxter might catch them, but April and Raphael mention that the authorities didn't appreciate Baxter's Mouser attack on the city and he won't be around for a long time. Underground, Krang criticizes Shredder for his repeated failures against the Turtles and refuses to supply the Shredder with any more technology, any more ideas, until Shredder fulfills his promise and builds Krang a new body. Shredder mentioned that Krang's body was one of many experiments he was conducting, as well as mutating better warriors than Bebop and Rocksteady to defeat the Turtles, but Krang argues that he has stone warriors in Dimension X, but Krang's too ashamed for them to see him without his body. Like, this is no time to be modest, bro. Whip it out. You know what I mean? Whip it out. Anyway, this gives Shredder the idea of actually pulling alien weaponry through the transdimensional portal from Dimension X, and Krang warns him there's no telling what might come through that portal, but Shredder decides to do it anyway. So with the Turtle van fully upgraded, the Turtles drive down the stairwell and head out to find the Technodrome. Back with Shredder, he opens the portal to Dimension X, allowing 2 gravity-defying hot rods carrying the neutrinos to come flying through the portals. And the neutrinos are these teen resistance fighters from Dimension X, and they battle Krang's armies over there. Anyway, speaking of Krang's armies, 2 stone warriors come out of the portal chasing after the neutrinos and end up facing off against Bebop and Rocksteady, who don't know what the hell's going on, and Shredder is able to run over there. And while this is going on, you've got the stone warriors, Bebop and Rocksteady facing off. The neutrinos blast a hole in the side of the Technodrome, make their way out to the city above ground, and Shredder's trying to calm the tensions between the 4 warriors in the Technodrome. He happens to turn his back for a moment after he thinks cooler heads have prevailed, and the Stone Warriors end up taking off. Now we go back to the Turtles. They're looking for the Technodrome, and the neutrinos buzz right past them, causing them to flip around, start chasing the neutrinos, and then we flip back to the Stone Warriors, who just happen to stumble upon their lord, their savior, Krang. The Stone Warriors explain the situation to Krang regarding the neutrinos, and he's obviously pissed off. He thinks it's Shredder's fault, which it is. And then we switch over to the Ninja Turtles, who, with their new surveillance gear, by the way, from the decked-out Turtle van, they're able to track down the neutrinos and catapult the Turtles into their vehicles, and eventually forcing them to pull over onto the side of the road with a little physical motivation. The 2 groups soon realize they're actually fighting on the same side though, and they're against Krang and the Shredder. And they're all about having fun, these neutrinos, and that's the thing in Dimension X. There is no fun, there's just war. It's kind of like, nah, I better not say it on here. Anyways, the neutrinos like to have fun, but the grown-ups in Dimension X say it gets in the way of their wars. April mentions she's worried about anything else that may have come through the portal, and the Stone Warriors arrive in Shredder's best tank right after that. What do you know? The neutrinos have weapons on their hot rods, which are required by law in Dimension X, so the Earthlings and the neutrinos make their escape in the hot rods and the Turtle van in order to battle this tank. Leonardo ends up taking out the tank, but the police get involved before the Turtles can take out the Stone Warriors, and all parties must make their escape. After the scene is cleared out and the Stone Warriors get away from the police, they launch a weather-controlling satellite set at total chaos in order to draw the neutrinos and the Turtles out, and then they make their way back to the Technodrome. In the sewer lair, the neutrinos mention that Krang has millions of Stone Warriors in Dimension X, and the group realizes that Krang is going to attempt to bring these legions over through the portal to conquer Earth. This is where it gets a little weird. They start preparing to take off to the Technodrome, but before they do, Michelangelo out of nowhere starts simping for Kala, harder than a 33-year-old white male during a That Star Wars Girls livestream. It was not subtle. The protagonists go above ground, and it's snowing in the middle of June, and these huge ice blocks begin falling from the sky, and the neutrinos mention that it must be a Weathermaker satellite. So the good guys head back to one of the craters in the ground that the Stone Warriors used to get above ground into the city with the foot tank, and the turtles leave April behind with the van, and they use the neutrinos' hot rod to fly down the crater, and through the hole the neutrinos blasted in the Technodrome earlier in the episode, and Donatello now has to teach himself how to use the portal, and of course Bebop and Rocksteady show up right as he begins to teach himself. So Leonardo holds them off and some foot soldiers as Donatello gets to work. Michelangelo, Raphael, and the neutrinos take a hot rod through the Technodrome and end up finding the throne room of Krang and Shredder, where the Stone Warriors have these badass laser Gatling guns, and try taking out the turtles and the neutrinos to no avail. So Donatello eventually opens the portal and Michelangelo lubes the bad guys up. They find a 55-gallon drum of industrial lube, pour it on the ground, it gets all over the Stone Warriors, and then Donatello and Michelangelo grab them from behind and just slide them right through the portal. That easy. Not long after that, the neutrinos come by. They leave a hot rod behind for the turtles, which is cool. They all pile into the one. They say goodbye. Michelangelo and his weird turtle boner start simping for Kala again. I mean, it's really weird. It threw the episode off in a way, and it made Michelangelo look like a simp. Anyway, the neutrinos end up going through the portal, and they close the portal and go to face off against Shredder, but the Weathermaker ends up distracting the turtles long enough for Shredder to make his escape. Using the neutrino hot rod that they left behind, the turtles fly towards the Weathermaker, but they're not able to get close enough due to the I don't know if it's the polarity or the magnetism, but it's pushing the hot rod back. Donatello says he's not able to get a close enough shot. They try firing on it, and that's when Leonardo jumps out of the hot rod with his katana like a badass and slices the satellite in half and is in free fall before he's caught by his loving brothers in the hot rod. We switch to a frustrated Shredder who storms into Krang's chambers and gives in to Krang's demands. He promises Krang he will get his body and he'll use it to destroy the turtles. This episode ends in the sewers, where April reads Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo a bedtime story. After they fall asleep, while shining his katana, Leonardo mentions that they will need their rest. Tomorrow, they will finally face off against the Shredder and finish him. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this was a cool episode. It kind of felt a little bit of a filler episode. Like, the Turtles did learn that Krang and Shredder have the transdimensional portal, and that Krang has an army, and he's planning on bringing that army over to conquer the Earth. But the way they conveyed it, I just think they could have maybe went about it better. I like the neutrinos, but I don't know, this episode felt very much like filler until the end, with Leonardo shining his katana and saying tomorrow they're going after the Shredder. That kind of gave me goosebumps, and I wish modern entertainment would put that much passion and intellect and even creativity into their products. Even just that few moments of brightness is better than most entertainment I see nowadays. Okay, so the 5-episode arc for season 1, it's not bad at all. I just wish they could have conveyed this story a little better, and maybe it's the style of the neutrinos that just didn't age well. I know one thing I didn't like was the way, it's okay to be nice to Kala. I mean, it's okay to be nice to girls, but the way they had Michelangelo simp for her, and I mean, it was out of nowhere. I mean, if they built up to that moment, that's fine, but they're like, she didn't even say anything. They're talking about Krang and his army and going to find the Technodrome. She's just standing there, and Michelangelo just randomly, "Don't worry, Kala, we won't let them hurt you." Like, who said she was worried? It was just weird. It was a little off-putting for the episode, but a good episode overall. Probably my least favorite for the season, but we'll get into that in episode 5, Shredded and Splintered. That's coming up next. That's the season finale of season 1. It's the finale of the original tale. of the Turtles and Shredder, and I'm just really excited to get to that. So I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell. You'll know every time we upload a new video. Thanks, have a great day.